Hi, my name's Shane. I use she and her pronouns, and this is the second of four sessions of #iHunt, a game by Olivia Hill and Philomena Young. We're using the alternate 1980s rules and setting material from the 80s zine in the is it Machine Age Games Patreon, the Patreon for iHunt. Um, and this session was organized as part of the Gauntlet gaming calendar. So, if you're not familiar, the Gauntlet is an online community that plays, organizes, and discusses a whole lot of role playing games, especially Indian story games. But the calendar now even has some D&D 5e sessions coming up. So, not exclusively devoted to any particular style of game. If you would like to find out more, come play a game, get involved, you can check out gauntlet-rpg.com or at gauntletrpg on Twitter. I'll ask now the players to introduce themselves and their characters. So just your names and pronouns, anything that you want to tell us about yourself. Um, Also, your characters' names and pronouns, and just a little bit about who they are. And when you're telling us about your characters, like obviously the setup for this game is that they're all hunting monsters to make ends meet. They're all under financial stress of some kind. But last session, you retrieved this grimoire called the Deathronomicon at grave personal risk. And as part of your intro, I'd like you to tell us why it is specifically that you took that job, or why is it that you really needed the money this time, if that makes sense. So let's start with Will, if that's okay.
Hi, I'm Will, pronouns he, him, as are those of John Barron, my character, who is a wannabe like New York Times bestseller writer. He's a struggling horror writer. He's grafting away, and this is all just like field research for him, basically. You write what you know, and he's going to know a lot about vampires and monsters and things by the end of it. He could be, this universe is Stephen King. He's not going to be. Stephen King is physically gonna beat him to the pip every single time. But did you say the thing why we need the money now would be a good time to
Yeah,
say it? Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think that John needs it now because he wrote this pitch, right, for a book, Cabin in the Woods, and he sent it off to his literary agent, and they were like, John, no one's going to read a book called Cabin in the Woods. No one's going to like. You want movie rights as well? Like, no one will see a movie called Cabin in the Woods. It's stupid, John. No one will ever call a movie Cabin in the Woods. And so, yeah, he's not been able to make the lucrative money off that, and yeah, he needs some cash.
Fair. All right, Puckett.
Hi there, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. Tonight I'll be playing Christian Starr. You've probably heard of us. I play guitar for the band Lipsticks, capital L, like lowercase y, lowercase p, capital S, TYXX. No? Okay, you're going to hear of us. I mean, I'm the best guitarist in LA. My bands are, they're kind of douchey, but um, yeah. Anyway, we're gonna make it. I'm doing this job until we do because I live in my mom's detached garage. I try to help her out. Brother went off to be a journalist in the Northwest, and my sister's working for a mayoral candidate in New Mexico. And my mom she needs some help. And so, why did I take this job in particular? Her nurse was saying that she wouldn't work any longer unless she got some money. And the cash, these gigs haven't been coming as frequently as they normally do. The band's not doing as well as it had been. So, sometimes you just got to pick up your axe and axe some monsters to help your mom.
Lovely. It's very considerate of you, Christian. Thank you. Donna.
Hey, my name is Don. My pronouns are him. Today I'm playing Becca Winters, who is the last Slayer. Has axe, will travel. I think the reason that she was so keen to get this job from our dodgy professor was that a waitress in the cafe she works in everyone's least favorite barista in everyone's least favorite cafe, has one of the other housemates has kind of got an acting gig and is moving out, and there's I guess a spare bed going, and Becca has been saving up for the first month's rent. So that's very exciting not to be sleeping on a couch for a change.
Yeah.
So yeah, the dodgy job in the dodgy cabin in the dodgy woods was too good to pass up.
Great. Thank you. And Sabine.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns. I am playing Jaime. He, him pronouns. Jaime is, he's a janitor he used to be a factory worker in, I think, car stuff. But due to safety regulations not being followed quite as closely as they should have been, he lost I think one of his hands, I think his left hand.
Yes.
And then he got fired from his job, of course. Now he's a janitor at the university, but that proved to be not the worst thing ever because he got into magic, like big time. Now, well, not big time, obviously not, but he got into magic anyway, and he's interested in the whole magic stuff because he discovered it. He's not he's I think in his late 30s, I said, or early 40s, something like that, and he is still he's reinventing himself, sort of. So yeah, why he did the job for the professor? Well, I said that this university has a library of occulty stuff, and that Jaime goes and reads that. It's not precisely, he's the janitor, right? He's not precisely allowed to go and read occulty books there. And the professor kind of caught him at it and said, okay, you can go and read these books, sure, but if I want something from you, then you'll give it to me. And Jaime was like, of course, sure, yes, professor. Yes, how high should I jump, professor? And why he needs the money? I mean, there's a lot of month left at the end of his money right now, right? I mean, he doesn't have to pay rent because he lives in his car, but he doesn't earn a lot of money and has medical expenses. And I think he kind of tries to give to charity whenever he can. So, yeah, well, there's and then he realized, oh, there's still 1 week left in this month. Damn it.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just cover some sort of boring game mechanic admin stuff. If you have any stress marked from last time, you can clear it. Stress always clears at the end of a scene. Bring your fate points up to your refresh value. So you'll always start the session by with your refresh worth of fate points. And just to remind you that apart from the stuff that's on your character tab in the keeper, you can also invoke your selfie, your big mood, I think it's called. Yeah, your big mood from last time. Invoking that gets you +1 to a roll. You don't need to spend a fate point to invoke it, but you can only do it once during the session. Does that make sense? Cool. So, the way I see this day today in the world of the game today, I guess as well as in our session today running, is that you all need to go to work. You got to go. You're going to have to cover your shift for today. After that, you need to meet with Professor DePaver to hand over the book, arrange payment, all that sort of stuff. And then after that, you need to drive out to the suburbs to meet with 2 women who want to hire you for your next gig. They claim that they are being stalked by some sort of nightmare killer. So that is what you have on the schedule for today. I mean, you may want to sort of chop those up, spread them around, split the team, however you want to organize that stuff. But I just wanted to start by getting you all to describe a little bit of what your day at work is like. So kind of setting up, what a shift is like for you, what work's like for you, and we'll go around in the same order. So, John, what's your actual work like? You're a copywriter. Do you work from an office? How does this happen?
I think that he does work from an office, but the office is like in the back of some, really crappy, like strip mall kind of office space,
Yeah.
and it's like one flickering light, and then on the other side there's like a cleaning company, and it always stinks of bleach. And above the door you've got like like what would it be called? Like Baron Design or something, like we pitch your products, and there's an empty receptionist desk that's never had anyone in it, and a fax machine that he has to kick to get working, where he faxes in all of his copy.
And so you're the only employee of Baron Design?
Yeah, he's basically, he'll pick up whatever work he can. It barely keeps it barely keeps the lights on, but he's just working for cents for far too many clients, doing the most boring possible work.
Uh-huh.
Every now and again he like maybe gets a decent job, like covering like ghostwriting a column or something for one of his friends or something. Like there are higher paying jobs, but they're few and far between.
Yeah. And what's the name of the rival design company on the other side of the mall?
Ooh, on the
The
other side of the
similarly
wall.
like small scale
Yeah.
mall design company.
That is Logos.
And like the one employee at Logos, what's his or her name or their name?
Their name is Nikki. Nikki Stolos, who is a like proper yuppie, like has all the connections, all of the right things, and it's just small, but like it's just everything that they do just makes them, like it can't hurt that they've got all the right friends in all the right places, and just has like the nice DeLorean, and although I don't know if anyone actually did drive DeLoreans in the 80s.
Nice. So, late in the morning, whatever, you're working on whatever, banality you're working on. Um, a friend, like a friendly security guard, who often, stops by for a chat, stops in. Maybe his name is Dougie, and he says, uh, "Do you know who that was over at Logos this morning?"
No, I don't know, Dougie. And he like sort of scowls as he's typing away on his like I don't know, really name an old computer. I can't think. I've gone completely blank on that.
I was about to say Atari, and then I realized that wasn't like
Yeah,
really
that's all I can think of is game machines from the 80s. But yeah, he's typing away on whatever electric typewriter there was back in the day. And just there's a phone ringing in like the back office as well constantly, and he just keeps looking over it, and he's way behind schedule deadline.
The Dougie's like, yeah, I don't know who it was, but they look like, you know, real money. Like the nice shoes, the suit that fits right.
Oh, what, like my threads, huh?
Uh, uh, yes.
Well, good for Nikki. I hope nothing but the best for them. If people want that hack, that's fine. I'm going. Trust me, Dougie. I've got way bigger things in the frying pan than anything like that. It's gonna be big.
Oh, that's great, John. Well, just thought I'd say hello. Have a nice day.
You
And
too,
he sort of
Dougie.
totters away.
As soon as he goes, John, pulls the blinds down on the front of him, peers through it, smoking a cigarette pensively, staring out across the mall at Logos Designs.
So it only takes a couple of moments for this man in what looks, I mean, it's hard to tell at this distance, but it really looks like an Armani suit. Slightly too wide in the shoulders in the way that was fashionable at the time. Steps out of the office, uh, you know, totes a quite large black leather briefcase, uh, sort of looks around, and we'll end that scene there and we'll come back. or we'll see what you do later. Christian, what's your shift at the copy shop like?
Like ridiculous. I mean, okay, so all of the stuff is normal. It's just that everybody wants it right now. They want to wait for it and they want it done right now. And my boss is saying, no, do theirs first because like that way we get the machines warmed up and running. And I'm trying to tell people, hey, you can go use those machines over there. They're self-service. It's not going to cost you anymore just to get them out the door, because it's just, there's this person who they want to print up circulars, and they want to put like for car windshield wipers for their not even groceries, their floor garden something plants. So it's there's like a couple of people in here trying to do their church flyers or their programs for next Sunday. I mean, it's just like everybody wants everything right now, and my boss is riding my ass. And it doesn't help that his name is Dennis, because that was my dad's name, and fuck that dude.
Is there any particular reason? Like, is this what he's normally like, or does he seem more stressed than usual? Like, what's his vibe?
Okay, so just to be absolutely clear on this, Dennis sucks all the time. He's just in a constant state of suckage, right? The dude is lame, but he's extra lame today, and I don't know what's going on. He's got like flop sweat on his forehead, So I don't. Maybe we're getting a mystery shop. Maybe corporate's sending somebody to check things out. Maybe there's a district manager coming by. Look. I just make the copies here, okay? I just want to show up, do my job, put something in the machine, run 1,000 copies of it, cut it, hand it to the customer, do the next job, get out, go home, and rock. This is just a paycheck.
So I would like to offer you to compel one of your aspects. So
Sure.
the way this works is that I offer you a fate point if you accept a sort of complication,
Uh-huh.
a narrative complication.
Uh-huh.
If you don't want to accept the complication, you can decline, but it costs you a fate point to decline.
Okay.
So the compel that I'm offering, you have an
Uh-huh.
aspect for your day job that at least you can make flyers for your show when the boss isn't looking. And the compel is that the boss has noticed that there is this inexplicable, like, excess quantity of copies being made on your shifts.
Ooh. I'll go ahead and take that fate point.
All right. So Dennis, like, eventually things in the shop like quiet down at least a little, and Dennis kind of looks, still a little bit of sweat on his brow, still a little bit anxious, but he says, "So, Christian, there's something that I wanted to talk to you about. Great work today, great work.
Hey,
You're
can we
doing,
talk about this while we smoke?
of course,
Okay.
yeah." So he lights up. The Look, Christian, I've had some auditors through here, and I can't help but notice that
Wait,
there are
what's an auditor?
um that's yeah. Never mind about that, Christian. What we've found out is that now it's normal. Everyone here has some ruined copies on their shifts.
Uh-huh.
Copies that just go straight into the shredder, into
Yeah.
the bin. That's not a concern. That happens to the best of us. Uh, you have a very high number of ruined copies. Do you know what an order of magnitude is, Christian? Just many, many more than anyone else in the store. Uh,
Order of magnitude?
and so
Like, I don't know, but it
I
sounds awesome. And I actually like grab a piece of paper and start scribbling it down. It's like, Dennis, you may have just given us a song title there.
Oh, the song. That's great. So, I mean, Christian, are you having trouble with the machines?
I mean, dude, we can't like call out repair techs like after hours or on weekends, and they just get they start jamming, and the next thing you know, you've got like a dozen copies caught up in it, and the paper's ruined because like some of it got in the feeder and it got a little bit of toner on it. So the next thing you know, you're throwing away like 50, 100 sheets.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. 50 to 100, normal. Everyone, every shift, 50 to 100.
Yeah.
You regularly 500, 1,000. Like,
This
uh,
is what I'm saying, Dennis. This is like the first time you and I have worked together in like 2.5 weeks. Like you put me on nights, you put me on weekends. The machines break down even more than normal. It's like we've got all these jobs coming in. Like,
all right.
dude, you,
Well,
like
that's fair. That's true. That's right. You're right. You can tell that Dennis is just like nervous about this whole situation and not really good at, having a tough talk with staff or anything like that. And he says, "So look, that's why I've decided that we're going to be rostered on for all your shifts together for a while, just so I can, make sure that you understand how the machines are working. We can deal with any problems that come up. We can have a smoke together." Kind of chuckles nervously as he tries to bond with you. Uh, and I'm hoping that we'll come away with this, not only uh, a better boss worker relationship, a better employee, but as friends, Christian. How does that sound?
do you like metal?
Uh, like, so he says, whatever would be the like most offensive thing to think of as metal in this context? Like maybe, I mean, I don't know what Christian would consider just to be like unacceptably soft, like fake poser metal, but that is what he names. Like I'm thinking maybe poison, but I don't know if that's like the right reference.
I mean, actually, Christian would probably be looking up to Poison, but
Yeah.
Bonnie Tyler, like, that would be like
Okay.
that would be a bridge too far.
Well, so that's what he says. Like Bonnie Tyler.
Okay, so you know how you're saying that you're going to try to help me like be a better employee and stuff?
Yeah.
I'm going to help you get some taste.
There's just a really distinct look of horror on Dennis's face as you say that. Almost like a Wilhelm scream type scene going on.
So we
Uh,
can listen to music together, right?
uh, yes, some music.
Sweet. And I will pop my band. I will like open up my jacket pocket. I will pull my band's demo tape out. I will pop it in the tape deck and say, listen to this shredding. And hit
and
play.
I would love to just cut on that image, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So Becca, I mean, same question really. Tell us about the coffee shop that you work at. Everyone's least favorite cafe.
I wonder if it would be good to have it in the same like shitty strip mall as John's office.
Yeah.
It's that kind of um, you know out of the way, not particularly inviting cafe. And some okay, I've said barista, which may be a bit advanced for the 80s, but maybe the owner has like splashed out on a really nice Italian uh, countertop espresso maker, and that's our thing. I mean,
Is the coffee too nice for the locals? Like, is that the
yeah,
vibe?
they're just savages, they just don't appreciate it. And yeah, I think I think maybe it's like near the end of Becca's shift, and some asshole has just ordered like two double espressos, and they're obviously just for him. And so Becca's like sweating. I think she's like pounding the portafilter to get the espresso grinds out, and like looking over at him, like standing at the counter, and yeah, they always say expressos. Yeah. Pounding the portafilter to get the grinds out, and like looking at him as if she's like imagining that, like, I wish I could smash you over your stupid head, you stupid double espresso ordering idiot. So yeah, I think
So I think that
her bedside manner or her tableside manner is not great.
So I think that the like stupid double espresso ordering like person in the mall uh like looks at you as you so unhappily serve him and says, you know anything about that new coffee shop that's opening up?
New coffee shop.
Like right across the way. And he sort of points out like I imagine there's like a glass front or even just an open front of the cafe. And the store across the aisle has been, like a few stores have been vacant for quite a while. You knew that there was something moving in there, but it's just like a logo and a name that you haven't heard before, so you didn't really
Yeah.
think anything of it.
Some kind
I
of
guess,
mermaid thing going on. I don't think they're going to be around for long.
yeah. Well, what is Starbucks? What does that
Yeah,
even
what
mean?
is Starbucks? It's a cool name, but like mermaids, I don't think people are going to find that inviting. It's a bit creepy.
Yeah. You see that they've got a sign up saying they're opening tomorrow, grand opening.
Grand opening. Yeah.
Nice. And Jaime, what is your day at work like?
I mean, it's a pretty cushy job, actually. I mean, I'm a janitor, okay? I have an office where people can find me if something's broken and then tell me to fix it. But of course, I have to run around a lot. I've got a pager, which I have repurposed to function as a ghost sensor, so it doesn't precisely work right now. Anyway, yeah, I'm there often enough that people can occasionally find me, and they will pin stuff on my door, like light in the third floor broken or something like that, and I go fix it, sure. But it's a university, and then people will, you know, it's a university for the not for science, but for the arts, right? So if you start telling people the technical specifications of what you're doing, they start to blank out really quickly. So I can always usually explain to somebody why but I can't just change the light bulb here. That's not, because of the AC/DC thing. Have you Edison and the other guy, Tesla? That is the thing, because they use AC/DC here, and that is not how these light bulbs work, because they're Edison light bulbs, which is bullshit. But they don't know that. And what I mostly do is I find something I want to read, and I read it, and sometimes I do it in my office, but oftentimes I don't, because
you've got that nice occult studies section in the library.
Yeah, right, and I mean, I'm busy. Yeah, I can't always be reached because the pager, I don't know what's wrong with the pager. I think it's something about the building. And there's nobody there who can actually look at my pager and say, what did you do with that thing? Why are there occult symbols on it? Except maybe the professor from last time. And right now, I mean, we have this fancy grimoire that we rescued, and I want to poke around in it. So I'll find some spot where I can do that and just read a bit.
So where will you go to do that? In your office or in the library, or?
Probably. No, neither. I have a cupboard where we keep a supply cupboard, a really spacey one, and I put a spell on the door so that people won't notice the door much, so they just walk past it. And if I come out there, of course I was in the supply closet. That's fine. There's a broom in there and stuff that I need for my job.
Nice.
Which I do. Okay. I mean, I do my job occasionally, but I'm not the cleaner. We have cleaning personnel at the university, and yeah, what I do is fix things like light bulbs. I do fix light bulbs, but sometimes when people are really like, yes, you person, janitor thingy, go and fix this, then I will give them bullshit. I don't like to be talked down to. I'm an expert in my field.
Fair. And when you get a chance to like study the grimoire, is that just going to be fictional positioning, or are you wanting to create an advantage with it, or is there something else that you're thinking of
Oh,
doing?
you know what? Sure. I mean, maybe there is something in there about dream demon ghosty things. I mean,
Sure.
why not?
Yeah, so I reckon that's going to be create an advantage using a cultist.
Yeah.
I think because you don't have a lot of information yet about it, about what's going on, I think probably +4 is the difficulty.
Okay, that's a lot, but I've got the grimoire, right? So, yay. And I've got 4. Okay, let's see where that goes. It's a 14 because I used 6s. Which is obviously wrong for this game, and I should have known better. I apologize, but it's after midnight, so I feel that
It's
is
fine.
sort of an excuse. Wow,
You could
yeah,
always
that's
just
totally.
divide. You could always just divide the numbers.
Yeah,
But
but
you
no.
wouldn't end up with negatives.
Yeah, but you could, yeah, sure. I mean, you could say 1 and 2 is a minus, and 3 and 4.
Right.
But that's no. It's after midnight, and while I'm usually good at math, it would have
It's after
been.
midnight.
Yeah, for me it is. It would have been slightly better, actually, that roll.
Well,
But this one is terribly bad.
do you want to invoke an
re-roll it?
aspect?
Yeah, probably want to invoke an aspect. Can I say that the grimoire is an aspect?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, then I'll invoke the grimoire. Why not?
Yeah.
There you go, fate point. And I'll re-roll it because -3. I mean, that can go worse. It's a 4. Ha!
So
there we go.
that's going to be a tie. So
Yeah.
what happens on a tie to create an advantage?
I think it's
you create the aspect that you don't manage to create an aspect, but you do get a boost.
no. Okay, I'll take that.
All right. So just make a note that you have a boost
Mhm.
related to the information in the grimoire
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
dream spirits.
Okay.
As you emerge eventually from your carefully warded supply closet, you notice there's a guy in a suit with a clipboard. He seems to be making some sort of observations or something. He does note you coming out of the closet. He makes some sort of a notation as he sees you.
Does he have a visitor's pass?
Not that you can see.
Then I will ask him who he is and what he's doing here.
He says that his name is Mr. Smith. He is a consultant. And what was your name?
I am the janitor.
Sorry, your name?
Yes, I have a name. My name is Gutierrez.
He writes that down. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Gutierrez.
You don't have a pass. I don't know if you're supposed to be here. I'm gonna I've got to call John from security, just to be sure.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Do your responsibilities normally include security?
No, but
Sort of furrows his brow, makes a note of something.
But I'm the janitor.
Janitor.
Mm-hmm.
See.
And what's your name again? Smith. Yes, Smith. Mr. Smith, of course. Okay. Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Well, I don't want to keep you.
You're not. This guy irks me now. I will follow my broom. Just doing maintenance, right?
Maintenance, broom maintenance?
No, it's not broom. I think I have a one of these boxes where you keep your hammer and electrical stuff. I don't know. There's a word for it, but my English sucks right now. Yeah, something like that. Whatever you have when you're a kind of a janitor. I mean, it's not a broom. Toolbox. Thank you. Yes, that one.
All right. And so what, you spend the rest of the afternoon following him around?
Yep.
Are you just trying to unnerve him, or are you trying to figure out what he's doing? Just following.
Yeah, I think a little of both. I love both. He kind of gets on my nerve. I am, these people are the reason why the security in my old workplace was shut down because it was not profitable or something like that. So I hate people like that, and I'm not. Yeah, and also I want to figure out if he's doing anything untoward, so I can actually call John from security.
So John from security will eventually like turn up just to like he's on his rounds. He sees you. He says hello.
Mhm.
Kind of gestures to the guy with the clipboard and asks what you think of all this.
I think it's bullshit. I think it's the English word for it. Yeah, he's running around and making notes of stuff. I think he's just trying to get people fired.
John sort of like pales at that. He says, "You don't really think there'll be redundancies?"
You need a janitor. You need a security guy.
It's true.
I mean, they probably go after the student help or something that does the photocopying, because there's a photocopying shop over in the mall, and I mean they totally waste all the paper over there, but it's cheaper for the university if you go over there instead of using the in-house copying service.
Yeah. He like drops his cigarette, sort of grinds it out under his heel, and picks up the butt to bin. And he says, you know Janet over in the library? She says these guys have really been sniffing around the rare book sections. They think that's not an efficient use of the university's space.
Huh. That is odd. That is really odd, because I mean these are rare books. That they're a point of pride for a university. Professor whatever his name is. Yeah, him. He's really proud of that collection. Not that I know anything about it, but
Yeah, well, the professors are all pretty weird, if you ask me. Anyway.
And that comes with reading too much. Words kind of
right.
worm their way into your brain and reroute all the connections in there. It's kind of an electrical system.
All right.
Interesting. Thank you, John. That was very helpful. Good talk. Good talk.
All right. So I would like to cut ahead here to all of you, well, to whatever's going to happen after your various work. So I'm not sure if you all want to meet with the professor together, if you want to split up, like how do you want to handle this?
I mean, I'm happy to go take the job for these kids and find out, maybe do an interview with someone. I wouldn't mind like splitting up and doing scene by scene.
Mhm.
But I have no real preference in which scene I go into.
Do you want some backup?
And I think I look at Star, I look at Jaime, I look at Becca, and I'm like, which one of these people is gonna freak out? Like, we know it's being posted by one of the teenagers, right? So yeah, I think Star actually is a good fit for that job. The teenagers, yeah, like 100%.
And I'm currently walking a guitar pick between my fingers like people do with coins.
And there's no way Jaime's letting go of that grimoire. I've seen how tightly they touch it.
I mean, we have to get it back to the professor anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Has it got like a little post-it note stuck into the page that you were looking at before?
No, he's not doing that. He's very respectful of books.
Fair.
He doesn't stick post-it notes in them. He has genuine, whatever they are called in English. Let me Google that for myself. There is a word, if I can write it down. What's that word in English, please? Help me. Bookmark, of course it is. Yeah, he uses genuine bookmarks made of leather with occult symbols on them.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right.
Star and me will go. So Star and me will go and chase up the job. You get payment for the last one, right, guys? Don't let him stiff us just because we had to kill his kid.
She was already dead when we got there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look.
Yes.
Just keep it easy and say you didn't see her.
I think he needs to know that his kid is dead. Christian, it would be not. I mean, that would be a terrible thing to do to a father, to not let him know what happened to her. So just let him wait.
That we like burned this living monster house down with his daughter in it?
Christian, his daughter was dead when we arrived. We couldn't do. What could we do? The house burned down because we were attacked by something.
I think you make a great argument, Jaime, and I'm sure it'll go down really well with the professor. Can slap you on the back.
He wants that grimoire. He's just gonna like try to bring her back from the dead or some weird shit like that, and we're just gonna have to kill her again, right? Just let him think that she's like alive, like they did in Gremlins.
I don't know what that means, and I don't think we should do
the
that.
Santa dad thing, they just thought that he like took off until they started smelling him in the chimney.
I only watch French films.
Or Swedish. Swedish.
Swedish films are really nice. Yeah, you don't even.
Parlez-vous Gremlins?
I'm just staring at you until you look away.
Well,
okay, we'll try to get paid.
Yeah.
For doing the job we were hired for, and you try to line us up with something that's not too weird.
Yeah, and then be careful. I've read up on some of the dream stuff in this book here, and you don't want to go in there without some kind of protection.
Listen, it's probably just kids having nightmares, right? It'll be fine.
Yeah, but there could be something more behind it. I've found stuff. Could be a curse.
We got this. We got the monster house. We got this. Big thumbs up, and yeah.
And I'm looking at Becca, shaking my head like, no, they don't got this, but okay.
So John and Christian, you've got to get out to the suburbs to meet with these kids. We know that Jaime has a van. Do either of you have a car, or how are you going to get transported? Catch a bus.
Does Star have a car?
I have occasional access to the van, but that's only when we need to like load it up for shows and things.
Fine, we'll take.
Otherwise,
John...
it's Blaze's girlfriend's van. That's kind of why he's like. I think that's part of why he's dating her.
Nice. So I think we'll take John's battered Ford of some kind. I assume Ford was making cars in the 80s.
Nice.
Please just tell me it's like a Taurus or an Escort or something, and not a Thunderbird.
It's a Thunderbird.
I see it, and I'm like, John, listen, I know some dudes. We could torch this thing. You could collect the insurance money.
Well, if we don't get paid, maybe I'll take you up on that, Christian.
I was thinking more like you could buy a new car, or like a car that didn't suck as much as this. Look at it. It's like a box with wheels.
It's a classic, and it's really, chugs to life, and engine backfires, and we go off. It's not a very well maintained car.
And what is playing in the tape deck, John?
Oh, whatever it was. I've already pulled it out and put my gun in.
Yep.
So check this out. I just did these demos last night of some riffs, and it's literally not even a song. It's just like poorly fingered riffs and some noodling around as a solo.
Yeah, I think the rest of the the montage of the rest of the car journey just shows John getting less and less enthused by this music.
Excellent. So we'll pick that up in a little bit. Jaime and Becca, do you want to talk any more about what you're going to do, or should we just cut to the scene with the professor?
I think we're kind of vaguely on the same page that we should, insofar as is practical, tell the professor more or less what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So you arrive at his office, which is pretty cramped and crowded. Obviously smells of cigarette smoke. Big overflowing ashtray on his desk. Very also overflowing are the bookshelves on either side of the room. He has this sort of tinny little desk with a couple of chairs in front of it. And he says, come in, sit down. Did you get it? How did it go? You can see his checkbooks on the table in front of him.
We got the book. I think
That's fantastic. The corner
I think
office.
you think you owe us whatever we agreed on. Money. I'm telling you the sum. I have no idea how much a dollar
Yeah.
was worth in the 80s. Probably
Yeah.
more than nowadays.
Yeah. Whatever abstract amount.
Mhm.
So he says, fantastic. He opens up his checkbook to start writing you a check, and you just realize there's something about him. He is also one of the zombie demons,
Oh,
just like his daughter was.
Great.
let's
So
just.
just if I could just get the book.
Yeah, as soon as we got the check, sir, these economics can't be too careful.
Yeah, you've heard of escrow, right? We're being careful about this because we've been burnt before.
Well, I mean, we've always had such a good working relationship. I don't know. That's fine. That's quite all right. I mean, you do have the book, right?
Yeah, we do have the book. Sure.
I mean, the book is in our possession, and not the other way around or anything.
Yeah.
He nods and starts writing out the check. What do you prefer? Four checks? Do I put it all into one of you? Like, what's easiest?
Right now, I think it's a good idea if he puts it
One
all
check
into
is
one.
good.
One
Yeah.
check is great. One check is great.
To cash is
Yeah,
good.
to cash.
Just,
Yeah.
To cash?
Yeah, to cash
right.
is good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd really be more comfortable making out in one of your names.
Sure,
Yeah,
but I think there's
you really
we
will
don't want to
leave
get
it.
into the awkwardness of one of us having had the check made out to us and not the other three. So just make it out a check. It'll be.
You don't want to leave a paper trail on this anyway, sir.
Yeah. I mean, what if your colleagues find out that you're using external non-union staff?
Are you serious? You know I write this off of my taxes, right?
Still,
Yeah,
maybe we don't want to leave a paper trail.
Well, I need to invoice you, or it won't be. What are the IRS going to say? Yeah. So I will let one of you make a roll to overcome an obstacle here probably using influencer. If there's a different skill you want to use, that's okay. He's going to defend, but I don't think he has a relevant skill. So let me just check.
I feel that organizer is the most helpful, but no, do you have a skill like that?
I think the skill I'm going to be using is probably assassin, but
yeah, I saw that and I thought, okay, yeah.
I have socialite and organizer, which both seem a little bit fringy for this, but
I would buy socialite. You can use that. He's going to defend using survivor. Actually, no, I don't think any of his skills will work to defend. So he's going to defend just with a straight roll, but because he's the monster, he has the edge. So it's going to be tough.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll, and then I'll roll for his defense.
It's me, right?
I think so.
Okay, I'm adding 1.
Quite good. Let's see how he does.
Oh, it's pretty good. A 3.
Oh, even with the edge. So it's like, no, you know what? You're right. Who cares? Who cares about the IRS? What are they going to do?
I mean, when you're a demon, right? What are the IRS going to do?
Especially since the IRS won't care if you pay us the money. They only care about money you make, not money you give away.
Well, yeah, but it's the deduction, right? So he makes out a check to cash. He extends it towards you and he says, "Now the book."
I'm taking the check, and then I'm looking at Becca and I'm going like, I don't know.
So
the book.
Yeah. So I guess I'm wondering, right, what kind of heavy objects or weapons might be available at a pinch on the
Oh
desk
yeah.
or whatever.
I mean, for sure, there's like a big, thick, heavy ashtray that you could club him with. There's definitely like, thick hardback books, things like that. If you have any other suggestions about what there might be lying around in
No, I
an
mean,
office.
Beating a demon to death with Britannica seems good. or
Yeah, I could maybe, I'm still talking to him, and I'm reaching into my bag, and I just pull out this holy water thing. Kind of, maybe it's not a holy water thing. Let me think. What do I have that would be good against a demon or a vampire? Crosses are always nice. So what I'm pulling out is basically a Bible. They have crosses on them. So, and they're not very. There are small ones, and it's not very conspicuous that I have a Bible. I mean, I'm a janitor. Of course, I have a Bible. It's full of notes pertaining to occultist stuff, but it just still got a cross, right?
Nice.
So what I want to do here is just to make him recoil from this Bible that I throw at him, and I say, "Look, this is a very good book as well." Throw it at him.
Look, I'll cancel that check. Sorry, this is me speaking as Shane. I don't really remember how checks work exactly, like what you can do with a check made out to cash. But I'm gonna call my bank. Give me the book, or that check's worth nothing to you.
So I think
I'm trying to create an advantage here
Okay.
with occultism, just to be clear on what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, yeah. Go ahead and roll that, and he'll defend with Survivor for this one, I think.
Okay. See how that goes. Oh wow, this is free. It's not very great.
All right. So I just made like a new tab in the Keeper for his office. It's not a full I don't expect a full like combat scene, so it's just a few basic aspects. So sorry, what did you roll?
3. It's not a lot.
So he will spend a fate point to use the edge again. He has a +2 modifier for this one. So let's see. So he's rolled a 3.
Okay. So now I'm going to spend a fate point because I really want to. I want to have this aspect for Becca to use, right? And I mean, I am a blue collar magic man, so yeah.
So you're just going to spend a fate point and bring that up to a success
5.
by 1.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. So what's the aspect called? Like he definitely shrinks back a little bit from the book.
I think that it's a holy book. It's in the vicinity, so we can use it. He will recoil from it. It's distracting.
So I just call the aspect the holy book.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Becca, he has recoiled a little. He says, "Look, there's no need for that sort of thing. I have done what you wanted. Now I just want I want my corner office, and that book's going to help me get it. Now, hand it over."
So I was originally thinking about fainting, but I think it'd be rude not to take you up on that free invoke. So I think I will swing a big heavy reference tome, some kind of thesaurus of thesauruses at him, and I think it's like, you don't want that book or the good book, you take this one.
So just attack using fighter.
Yeah, I think I'm lamping him. I think he is kind of. I guess it's kind of distracted and recoiling from the Bible. So yeah, I think I'll do an attack, and I'll see if I need to take that in invoke. So it's fighting, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, he'll roll to defend.
Okay.
He's going to use his edge die again. He doesn't have a modifier for this. He's just a stuffy old academic. He definitely like shrieks in horror as you pick up, a valuable, somewhat rare book and try to brain him with it. Obviously, more concerned about the book than about his skull. So he's rolled a 6.
Okay.
You want to use the free invoke to bring that up to a tie?
Yeah, let's use the free invoke on that holy book. And I think maybe, the first book lamps him and it's not designed as a weapon. And maybe I have to grab the Bible from Jaime and follow up with that. So that brings me to tie with him, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Do you want to use it? Do you want to invoke another aspect to deal some damage?
Let's invoke something else. What else is in this office? Let me check.
Like, even as a zombie demon, he is still just a sort of mild-mannered old professor. So he doesn't have a lot. Like, it's not going to take too much damage to take him out.
Yeah. And I think overflowing bookshelves are just itching to be toppled over on top of him.
Oh, nice.
So I will spend a fate point to give myself a +2 there.
All right, so that'll deal 2 damage to him. Are you happy with that, or do you want to invoke another aspect?
Yeah. I think I'm happy enough with that for now.
All right. So describe that scene. You like brain him with the book and then knock over a shelf on top of him.
I hit this exceptionally valuable book against him, and I think it just disintegrates. Right, the spine comes loose.
No,
I know. I'm terrible. I'm disgusted with myself as a librarian, and then I grab the Holy Bible and I smack it against his forehead, and then I think his wheelie chair is maybe. I don't know if he has a wheelchair, but he does now, right? And he's rolling back a little bit with this kind of force of the assault, and then I just step to one side and push over this overflowing bookshelf, and just lands on him and maybe throws him to the ground.
Can we exorcise him?
Well, I think it must be his turn now, and he is going to concede. Mm-hmm. So, in any conflict, you can concede, gaining a fate point, but you're taken out of the scene. You can't continue to contest it. So he's going to leave you with the check and the book, but he's also going to make a break for the door and scuttle out into the hallway and vanish, likely creating some problems for you down the track unless you go after him. But let's take our first break here. So we'll just take, it'll be our only break today. We'll take 10 minutes if that's good for everyone, and we'll pick up in the suburbs.
Tonight's whiskey is Red Earl. I know you're interested, Will.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had Red Earl. All I've got in at the moment is Woodford Reserve, as recommended to me by Puckett.
How are you liking it?
It's good. I could do with buying a good single malt again, though. But it was on offer, so I was like, I'll buy that while it's there, and it's a nice one to have in,
Yeah, I mean, it is a good, solid American bourbon.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's not quite going to put hair on your chest, but some follicles. I'm trying to think of one. I think it was Jefferson's Reserve. Some friends of mine came through town, and it turned into kind of a whiskey tasting thing, and a shot of Woodford's just put one of them down, like it was nap time. And I'm like, damn, you guys haven't been drinking much. If you want a mule kick, though, go for Booker's.
One day.
You're muted,
So-
Shane.
Thank you. Is everyone ready to continue?
I'm good.
So we'll go back to the university, but John and Christian, you have pulled up to this, like, the 80s idea of the 1950s style diner. It's called the Crave Inn, deep in the suburbs. You are there to meet with two women who want to hire you. Their names are Ronnie Blakely and Amanda Wiss. Amanda works at the diner, so she's quite busy when you pull up, and she like recognizes you. She, gets you a table. She's like, I'll come talk to you as soon as I get my break. It shouldn't be, sorry, I've got to go. Like, she's rushing around. John, you have a chance to think back to your earlier encounter today with Mr. Vinyos from Starbucks, who has invited you and Nikki to pitch to him tomorrow your respective ideas about a Starbucks advertising campaign for the mall. How are you feeling about that?
I felt really confident. I'm pretty sure we can get this job wrapped up. I'll have loads of time to work on it. I'm sure it won't be, I'll be able to hit that deadline. No problem.
Excellent.
Can I see that you're thinking about something? Or that something's on your mind?
I think mostly you can just see me studying a Starbucks cup that I've got in the car, right? Like the logo on the side.
You seem awful interested in, what is that, like a McDonald's cup or something?
No, it's this. I think it's maybe a Melville reference, or is it Battlestar Galactica? Like,
Fucking
anyways.
nerds, man. Like,
Yeah.
the only thing good about them is that they like metal.
And John awkwardly gives you the devil fingers. And then...
and I grin and respond in kind and say, damn, dude, I didn't know you were cool.
He raises his cup up for another refill of coffee while we wait here at the Crave Inn.
So it'll be dropped in. And before too long, Amanda sort of hustles over a young woman who's been sitting in the cafe the whole time to come and talk to you. They introduce themselves, Amanda and Ronnie. We've never done this before. Like, what? Hi, thanks for coming.
And John just sticks out a hand, shakes it, and goes like, "Yeah, no problem. Now, why don't you just tell us what's going on? Nightmares, you said?
I kind of flip
It
my
said
hair
Heather
back
in the ad as well.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. Is that Amanda, basically?
Yes. Let's
Let's just pretend it doesn't say Heather. Yeah.
It
Okay.
is,
Heather.
Heather's the name she goes by. Amanda's the name on her name tag.
Okay. well covered.
Sweet. I should try this at work.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't to start asking about where this Heather was,
No, that's good.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and then why don't you tell us, as he pours just packet after packet of sugar into his coffee?
Well, where should I start? Ronnie kind of encourages her to talk. She says, "Look, 3 of our friends have died recently. First, Nick, they said it was a motorbike accident, but that wasn't like him. He was very careful.
Did he actually ride a motorbike?
Yeah, but he was careful about it. He knew what he was doing. I really don't think. Well, I mean, if it was just that, but then then there was Taryn. She drowned in an inflatable pool in her own backyard. I mean, I know,
like one of those kiddie pools.
Exactly. Like, I know that you can drown in an inch of water, but one seems like a it happens, twice it's a coincidence, three times, something's up.
What
And then
about that third time?
Priscilla, she looks, she almost pales as she mentions her. Priscilla had started having these terrible nightmares after Nick died. She was telling everyone about them. Kept talking about this weird man she was dreaming about with a horrible face who was following her, threatening her. I thought she was just upset about him dying, but, well, we saw her. We were in her dream when she died. Ronnie, sort of chokes up at hearing this and nods.
You were in her dream.
We all had the same dream. The two of us and her boyfriend Max. It was horrible. This man with this terrible face, scarred, like almost, the most horrible thing I've ever seen. The her arms fell off, her legs fell off. She grew scales. She's always been terrified of snakes, but she turned into this huge snake, and then he turned into this huge snake, and she swallowed herself somehow. It was the worst thing that I've ever seen. Just so horrible.
So
Then
her
go on.
body, did they find it?
Yeah, they found her with Max. They think that he killed her, but he was there in the dream. We all saw it. This horrible man, and he was taunting us and threatening us, saying that we would be next.
So where's Max now?
He's in the local jail.
Oh, they caught him.
Yeah, I mean he didn't do it. He wasn't running. He wasn't trying to hide.
So was there anything weird about Priscilla's body? Like,
I mean, Max said that she was, bleeding badly, that it looked like she'd been stabbed or something, but, we'd seen her. We saw what really happened.
So you've all seen this creepy dude. Can you give me more than a horrible face? Anything else? None of you recognize him?
No, we definitely didn't recognize him.
what was he wearing? Like in the
Wearing
dream?
like a ratty old jumper, some kind of hat. And Ronnie at this point will interject and just sort of gasp loudly enough to like stop all the diners in the cafe and say, he had machetes for fingers.
That actually sounds kind of awesome.
Sounds pretty metal.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so machete-fingered man, right?
Was it like were his fingers like actually machetes? Like, did he have like a fake hand or something?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get that close of a look. You know what
Okay.
dreams are like.
So have you told anyone else about this?
We've tried to tell our parents, but they just think we're crazy. But you don't,
Parents
right? You
suck.
know about this sort of stuff.
Yeah, parents suck. We definitely know how much they suck, right, John?
Yeah. Parents suck.
Yeah. And Amanda will, Heather at this point will pull a little roll of bills out of her pocket. Like, not a huge amount of cash, but, maybe more than you would have necessarily expected a waitress in this sort of chintzy suburban diner to have. She says, look, I've been saving for years so I could get out of this stupid town. She gives this sort of no offense look to Ronnie. And she says, but now all I care about is making it to graduation. Yeah, we can pay.
Well, we're happy to help. So our usual fees, we take payment up front.
Yeah. She looks a little sad, but she says, yeah. Hands over her little bundle of cash.
I mean, John, we could take like half of it, right? And then collect the other half when it's done.
No, that's not how we do. We need to cover our operating expenses. You understand?
Well, yeah, but like we could do that with half, right?
Christian.
Like with that last job, we didn't even get paid for up front.
She like pulls the money back and sort of slips it back into her pocket. Says, "Look, how about I just give you, I don't know, $100 now for your expenses, and
Like a
you come back
deposit.
to me." Yeah, like a deposit.
And we can do that, right, John?
John's just knuckles are white around his mug of coffee, like, and he just sips it and doesn't say anything, looking at Christian like furiously.
I would actually like to roll to create an advantage at this point.
What's the advantage that you're trying to create?
Like building
Oh.
up trust with these people.
Yeah, I think that's good. Using influencer, I guess.
Well, I do have that move, or I do have that stat. So yeah, that's +3.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think just go ahead and roll. I don't think that she'll defend, so yeah, just
I
do
mean,
it
I
against
did
a
just
difficulty of 0.
I was just super honest.
All right, so that is success with style to create an advantage. Let's see, what is that? I think that gives you an aspect with 2 free invokes. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to call the aspect Heather Trusts Me. Does that work?
Works for me.
So I guess I'll just turn this Depiva's office tab into a general like aspects tab. All right. So she sort of noticeably smiles at you. Obviously appreciates you, you know, sort of disadvantaging yourself for her benefit. She says, "Thanks. You know, my cousin died in this town years back, and I never thought that anything like this would happen again. I just hope that you can help us."
Wait, your cousin was having nightmares too?
Not nightmares. He was. I mean, you might have heard about it. There was kind of famous, well, massacre, I guess, at a pool party back in, I don't know, '83. 3 kids were killed and 8 more were. Well, I guess that was a machete as well. Weird.
And I look at John.
So I'm just thinking, would we tell them to stay awake while we chase this lead down?
I will kind of nod and say, but you know, we should probably figure out a way to all dream together, just so we can like go in and defend him, I guess. Like, because it sounds like this goes on in dreams. So,
Well, we need to consult with our colleagues, and we'll get right back to you with all of this.
but
Heather.
in the meantime, drink a lot of coffee.
Yes, and he pushes his
And
cup
here,
over the table towards her.
maybe this will help. And I pull out a demo tape.
What's this?
Oh, it's my band. We're pretty awesome. I mean, we play around. We play out a lot around here. Lipsticks. You ever heard of us?
I think that like Heather like has this positive feeling towards you, so she's trying to think of a way to like say no that won't be offensive. She's like, "Well, I can't wait. No, but I can't wait to listen to this."
Sweet. Yeah, I play guitar, so I write the songs. Blake, our vocalist, he's kind of a dick. He writes the lyrics. He's a good singer, though.
All right. Well, look, I gotta get back to work. But you know, if there's anything else you want to know, Ronnie can help you out.
Yeah, just stay awake while we figure out how to get into dreams. We're gonna be like dream hackers or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing night shifts here just to help me stay awake.
Yeah.
Smart, very smart.
And give him my my pager number, and you know, just say anything weird happens, you know, hit me up. But otherwise,
Yeah.
like, I'm going to chase down that lead on the the historical massacre, the pool
Sure.
party massacre.
So so I guess she'll tell you, you can mostly find her here at the diner, or if she's not at school, here's her home number if you need it. But, try not to tell my parents. They probably wouldn't approve of me hiring a monster hunter.
Yeah.
Well, hell, if they wouldn't approve of one, how'd they feel about hiring 4?
Well, exactly. But she's being called, like the boss is yelling for her, so she scurries away to go serve some more people. So, John, you want to follow up, try and find out more about the history?
Yeah, I think it's, hitting up like the local library, the newspaper archives, chatting up people, just general sort of like hitting the streets and the records. It's that lots of microfiche. Fish.
Yeah. Christian, are you going to go along with John, or what do you see yourself doing?
I almost feel like it might be and well, if you don't like this idea, let me know. I almost feel like Christian might be better at the hitting the streets and talking to people while John hits the books because, John can read, and knows how to do research.
Yeah. I think that's a good call.
All right. And Christian, what does that mean? Like, who are you going to be going to talk to?
There's always burnouts in every town. And usually they love metal. And they usually see what's going on and nobody even really thinks of them because they're just kind of in the background. People just kind of write them off. So it's like they see and hear everything, but nobody notices. So first of all, they're my people. But second, I know how they're ignored. That's the way I was back in high school until I decided to go be awesome.
Awesome. And so I should probably ask here, is there are you going to page Jaime to let him know what's going on, or have you arranged that they're going to come out and meet you after they deal with the professor, or what's?
Ring from a payphone.
Well, Jaime doesn't have a house. Presumably doesn't have
That does
a
not
mobile.
mean that I do
Not
not
having
have a phone, my friend. Hello. You can rig that up. I can rig that up. If anybody can, I can. I have a phone.
At the very least, there could be a payphone near the van.
No, it's in the van. There is a phone in the van.
And you have
It's a clunky, huge thing, right? It's not like a modern cell phone or anything, but it is kind of a car phone. It's kind of stolen some technique from some cops, but don't tell them.
Cool.
Fair enough. So I'll go back then to Jaime and Becca. The professor has made a break for it. You have both the check and the book.
Mm-hmm. And the other book.
Do?
So let's go and cash that check.
Yeah,
are you
absolutely.
worried about your job? Like, if the professor tells the admin that he was attacked by the janitor?
Yes, but then the question would come up: why? And he is a hell demon, and I know that. So I think I need to talk to him. Maybe okay, you're a hell demon. I won't tell them. You won't tell that I attacked you, and maybe we can work out something to our mutual benefit. But I'm not giving you the book until I'm really sure that you're not trying to destroy the world or something. Maybe we overacted a bit, well, because of the whole hell thing. But that's a problem for another day. First, we get to cash the check.
So you both head back to the van to go to the bank.
Sure.
I guess you can just get in there and cash the check before the bank closes for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone more familiar with how checks worked than I am know? Do you must need ID. The bank must keep a record of who cashes the check, right?
That's the point of a cash. This cash check, but you can go present it and say, "Give me money," and instead of using a gun, you use this piece of paper, and they will give you money.
Okay.
But only a certain amount that's written on the check.
Sure. It's a shame, but all right. So you get the cash. And then, not long after that, you get a call from the others, letting you know, what's up.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Will the two of you like drive out to join them, or do you want to do some research here in town? Like there's libraries here you could use, or
Yeah, I think I would like to go into more of research about the stream stuff because I mean, I used the Grimoire, but I didn't use the library at large. Of course, it might be that the professor catches up with me, but maybe I can talk to him.
So yeah, I mean, I guess if you're sticking around to do some kind of generic occult research on dreams in the university, I should stick around just in case. Or friendly Professor Demon is also hanging around. So
You
yeah,
might want to take the axe with you. I can't say that you are my I think what's the word? Let me
niece.
I no, that's not, you're not my niece. You're my temp, you're my trainee. You're my trainee, that's why you have an axe.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
It actually does. I have a few things that you could do with an axe that would actually be beneficial, but for the school, but they don't have money enough to lay down new pipes. And as I've been telling them to, this place will flood. It's not long in coming, and I've told them. But yeah, money. Can't you just repair the pipes that are there? Yeah, but anyway, forget about the pipes. I'll just look at these pretty little books over here. Oh, and there's a auditor or some kind of running around. Don't hit him with the axe, no matter how tempting that might be.
Auditor?
Yeah, consultant. They're looking for ways to make the university more efficient, I think. So that they don't pay stuff for frivolous things like education.
Yeah, that's an overhead. That's an unacceptable overhead at a university.
Yeah.
all right. So we'll run this as a challenge, which means that we'll give each of you one sort of action to see what you find out or achieve. I guess you can really choose, like you could choose what skill is relevant to what the approach that you're taking. If you just want to like get more sort of information, like if it's just that sort of research, it'll be an overcome an obstacle action. Or you can take a create an advantage action if you want to like produce an aspect that will be useful, but that's going to produce less information about the situation or what's actually going on. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So why don't we start with John? So where were you going to head? The library, the town hall?
Yeah, it's the classic, in the archives, the big screen readers, notebooks filling up with notes and names circled, and key images going across, while he inexplicably narrates some of the things that he can see on the screen.
Nice. And are you going to be overcoming an obstacle or creating an advantage?
I think this is overcoming an obstacle, the obstacle of our ignorance over the situation, and I think you've got all of like the current deaths as well. Like the last three, like whatever was in the papers about them, and whatever was about this machete massacre in 1983.
All right, so he's looking for information about current and historical sort of murders, massacres, things like that.
Trying to join any dots that might be there.
All right. So I might just ask everyone what specifically they're going to do, and then we'll go back and do the dice rolling. Sure. So, Christian, you're going to go talk to the local burnouts and weirdos.
Absolutely.
Is there anything in particular that you're trying to get out of them? Information, some sort of advantage or aspect?
Well, one, I'm taking a bottle of Jack Daniels with me. The traditional offering is beer, but, liquor is quicker. So what I'm trying to get out of them is the stuff that people know but don't talk about. So that's basically I feel like it's creating an advantage of hidden knowledge. Like it's the stuff that wouldn't be in books that we're not going to get from Heather or Amanda. This is the urban legends that, like, the stuff that they've heard when people didn't think anybody was around and were whispering to each other.
Okay, that's good. That's awesome. All right, we'll come back. So, Becca, I know that you were talking about mostly like lurking around with an axe, but are you doing any research in this scene?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a passable skill in occultist, the
Oh, yeah.
kind of things you pick up while being a slayer with all of
Sure.
watchers hanging around. So I wonder, maybe I don't want to do any like direct research, but maybe I'm trying to remember something from the old days, something about
From Slayer
tree
training?
demons, or yeah. And so maybe that'll be like a create an advantage
Hmm.
that we can
All right,
spring later on.
cool. And Jaime, like, what sort of research are you going to be doing?
I will do library food. Because I
Oh,
have that stunt. Makes me super good at research montages. When I have a scene dedicated to research, you always have the edge. Also, so long
oh,
as you have access to a situational aspect related to some of the research you've done, you can use the academics or occultist skill set for defense actions. It has to reflect something like protective armor, amulets, and stuff like that. And I realize now that this kind of doubles up with the defensive charms I have.
oh.
Because, so I'll
Yeah,
rethink
right.
them. I won't change that now. But yeah, okay. But I want to do that. I want to create an aspect that I can later on use to defend myself against dream magic, machete
Okay.
guy stuff.
All right.
Right?
So that also means that your side has the edge for this research scene. So
Mm-hmm.
you can use it for free, but anyone else can get the edge by spending a fate point. And we're pretty close to the end of our session, so I can't see why you wouldn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we'll go back to John. So John, in front of the microfish, you can roll 4 fate dice in your relevant skill, or you can roll 3 fate dice and 1d6 for a fate point.
So
I
what
think
was
the
that, sorry?
difficulty. So because your side has the edge, you can spend a
Okay.
fate point to replace a fate die with a d6. I think that the difficulty for this is going to be like you're going to get some information regardless, but the difficulty to get some like good stuff will be 2.
Okay. I think I'm okay with my 4 fate dice and my modifier of 4 on investigator. Yeah, that's a 3.
Right. So sorry. You happy with just a success, or do you want to invoke an aspect to bring it up to a success with style and get a boost as well?
I will
Huh?
invoke an aspect to get a success with style.
So what's the
Uh,
aspect that you're invoking?
I'm invoking fueled by more than creativity because it is, a long few hours sat staring and going through all of these things. And he's starting to get tired. Maybe like, his eyes getting heavy, and as he looks through these screens, and then he takes out a few of Mother's Little Helpers, and he's back wide awake again.
Nice. So let's see. So what you'll find out, you find like quite a lot of information about the 1983 massacre that Heather mentioned.
Hmm.
A young man named Jesse Walsh killed 3 teenagers and injured 8 more at a pool party. He was found not guilty by reason of an insanity defense after claiming that he'd been possessed by someone called the Dream King. He later died. Apparently, sorry, bear with me for 1 sec. I just want to check. Right, so he died of apparent suicide. Or certainly, it was reported as a suicide in a local psychiatric institution called the Western Hills Psychiatric Hospital. In 1985, so a couple of years after the murders. I think you also find that there were several deaths at Western Hills in '85, like a little cluster of them, resulting in some investigations of the institution that ultimately cleared them of any wrongdoing. Um,
Do any of the notes, the stories mention that this was the same, care group that Jesse was in? Like,
um, it doesn't seem like it. So Jesse
okay.
was in the most secure ward of the hospital.
Uh,
The others all seem to have been local teens who, weren't incarcerated. Maybe some of them, uh, were under treatment orders of some kind, but mostly had just been placed there by their parents.
hmm.
Um, the let's see what else. Going back like a couple of years before the massacre, you also find another instance of a kind of cluster of teenage deaths, a half dozen within 2 months, um, and it seems like there's a kind of odd pattern to that. That almost every 2 years, there's been some sort of cluster of deaths, although mostly these appear to have been accidents or you know
Hmm.
unfortunate random events rather than any sort of pattern.
And I have a map with putting down bits of post-it notes and blue tack and stuff on it to mark out where each death was.
Yeah, that is a great idea. So I think that if you do that, you'll see that um, all the previous waves, the deaths have been quite spread out. Obviously, not the pool party, but otherwise across town. But the most recent wave of deaths, the three that have been mentioned, are all clustered quite close together in the same neighborhood.
Cool. Well, that's a lot of, I'm going to relay all of that to the rest of the team at the nearest
All right,
opportunity, like mainly the neighborhood. And I'm thinking about maybe paying a visit to Western Hills.
sure. Becca has asked, was there a pattern to the time of deaths? Um, Let me see. So the pool party obviously was during the day. Well, I guess not obviously, but it was during the day. But it does, to the extent that this information is recorded, it seems like most of the deaths happened at night.
Mm.
Obviously, that's not totally reliable. The time of death isn't, often reported for teenagers in the local paper.
But it's like when you're asleep, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So Christian, um, where do you find the local burnouts? Are they hanging outside the convenience store
They're
or
always at the convenience store. You
Yeah,
kidding me? Usually
of
trying to get
course.
somebody to go buy them beer.
Okay. And they are very happy to see that you're offering them some Jack Daniels.
Yeah,
Uh,
I kind of open up my vest a little bit and kind of show them the bottle and gesture around the side so they can see it's yeah, this isn't for hanging out in front, you know.
cool. So yeah, so they sort of follow you around the corner. They sort of look at you like you might be a bit dodgy. Um, a young woman kind of says "Hey man, you always try and lure teenagers around the back of the 7-Eleven. What's up with that?"
So and I'll kind of lean in. It's I'm a monster hunter, but I'm a metalhead. And I know that kids like you are always seeing shit that people don't think you can see and hearing shit people don't think you can hear. And there's some people, man, they're getting killed around here, so I hear. So I want to try to stop that, make sure everybody can just fucking stay alive and rock out. And I am absolutely trying to use impressive speech here.
Yeah, for sure.
Once per session before a big confrontation, if you give a big motivational speech to whip everyone into shape, the aspect you create gets an additional free invoke.
Oh yeah. So what What aspect are you creating here?
Well, that, like I said earlier, hidden knowledge.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So you can just have one free invoke on it for free, or you can roll to create an advantage to get see if you get a second free invoke.
Okay, so it says the aspect I create gets an additional free invoke. So does that mean if I roll well, we could actually have 3 invokes on this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I understand that I can spend a fate point to crank up that die and replace it with a d6.
That's right.
All right, I am spending that fate point.
All right. So let's see. I think again the difficulty here is 2.
Yeah.
They probably know something. They're inclined to trust you, but you're an outsider. They're not sure if they should tell you everything.
Yeah, I mean, well, not only that, but I kind of look like I'm close enough to looking like an adult that I'm sus. But
Exactly.
there is an international brotherhood of metal. And I mean, it's it's not like a gender thing. It's like there's just like metalheads everywhere. Like, kind of get it. It's like even if you don't speak the same language, literally, you can just like say band names and like nod and drink your beer. So, yeah, go ahead and let's see. This is
Probably influencer.
yeah, I feel like influencer's a good one. So +3 d6. Can I spend more than one fate point to roll more than one d6?
No, it's just the one.
Okay. Alrighty, so that's
Cool.
a 9.
All right, so that is a success with style. That will get you 2 free invokes on your aspect, plus the extra free invoke from your stunt. And so yeah, like they tell you a bunch of things that you may be able to figure out are useful later. Um, that's that's the kind of aspect part.
Yeah.
But I think what they tell you specifically is like in this kind of babbling like churn of all kinds of like rumors and urban legends and stuff. One thing that sticks is that they tell you that a couple of them tell you that their parents were involved in a murder. And they tell you this story about back in the 70s. There was this guy who was killing local teenagers, local kids, in fact, even. And he got released on a technicality, and a bunch of the local parents got together and they murdered him. And this is the big, like, local, like they also mentioned the pool party massacre, but to them, that's the really incredible thing that their parents act so, like, high and mighty, so, like, so in charge, so responsible, so authoritarian, but really, you know, they
They're
all
fucking
killed a guy.
hypocrites.
Exactly. Um,
I nod quite solemnly at this revelation. Take a slug of Jack, pass the bottle around, say, that's really fucked up.
yeah. And one of them will like reach into her vest, like thinking about something, and then she pulls out a demo tape and extends her arm to you and says, "Check out our band."
Wait, you're all in a band?
Yeah, we're a
Fucking
band.
sweet. And I'll hand her a copy of my demo.
Nice. There's definitely like a bond of trust emerging here.
I cannot wait to fucking hear this. What do you guys sound like? Who are your influences?
So I'm going to cut the scene there because we're nearly out of time. But you can have a lengthy discussion about metal bands as the scene fades out. So Becca, you want to roll to create an advantage based on like what you've heard before about dream demons, dream spirits, things like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm gonna spend fate like there's no tomorrow.
Okay, so I think this is going to be relatively difficult. Like you're trying to remember something. I think it's probably difficulty of 4.
Sure.
So 1 fate point gets you the edge die.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see what I get.
All right, so that'll be a success with style without even
Okay,
invoking
cool.
any aspects.
Yeah.
So like, can you like just briefly like set the scene for us? So you remember back to this time that like, did you have a personal watcher? Like, how did the Watchers Council work? Who was like
Yeah.
educating you?
So I think we kind of see a flashback to a young Becca, maybe like 16 or something, and they're in the middle of some big big showdown with a demon, and they've been out all night hunting, trying to track down this demon lair, and then during the day they have like they've been nodding off and not really sleeping, and I think like after a week of that, the Watchers give her some kind of arcane drug that will help her sleep. But then she has all of these like terrible dreams where this demon kind of connects with her mind in the during her sleep. But I think this helps her to track the demon down, right? That they have a connection that goes both ways.
So is the advantage that you create that you find some of this drug that you still have saved somewhere, or is it more the knowledge that you want to
Um,
aspect?
um, I mean, I was kind of maybe thinking that it's something like the connection goes both ways, but maybe there's a little sachet of this kind of old powder, this kind of ground up arcane spice or whatever that is a little bit of a potent dream medicine, right?
All right.
So maybe
Well,
maybe that
which?
makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess like which of those would you like? The dream connection goes both ways, or ground up dream drug?
Um, I mean, I think maybe the kind of flavor of the drug is there. Like, I think she's just like remembering what it was like, but I don't think she has
Right.
enough.
Okay.
Like maybe there's like a tiny sliver of it at the bottom of a Ziploc bag or something, but just enough to like help evoke the memory.
Sure.
So I think maybe it's like a two-way connection is what we'll call this aspect.
I'm just gonna make it two-way dream connection, so I remember next week that that's like what we meant
Cool.
by connection. And
Sure,
that's
yeah.
2 free invokes
Cool.
because it was a success with style. Cool. And Jaime, what's your scene like? We're
I
deep in
think,
the library.
yeah, I go to the library and I don't think I will research dream demons because I've got the information from John and Christian already. What I want to do is research how we can stay lucid in our dreams,
Mm. Oh
right?
yeah,
Like
that's
we can
awesome.
control our dream kind of the dream itself, the landscape, the thingy, right?
Yeah.
So we can defend ourselves from this machete-handed guy. So we might be able to dream up this shield or something like that. Or Becca might
Yeah.
dream of an even bigger axe, right? Because it's a dream, she can have an anime axe that is 4 times her size.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is what I'm
Um,
looking for. Some kind of way that I can create for us an amulet
Yeah.
or something, powder, whatever.
Oh yeah, sure. So go ahead and roll. I think difficulty will be 4.
Okay.
You have a free use of the edge die.
Yeah, I will do that. Okay. See how that goes. That's a 6. I will spend a fate point to push that up to an 8 because I want the success with style as well.
So what aspect are you invoking?
I will invoke. I think I will invoke the blue collar magic man again because that's what I am, right?
All right. And yeah, like what is it specifically? Are you creating an amulet or a powder, a ritual? Like what
I
do you
think,
learn?
what I create, we are in the 80s, right? What I create is sweatbands
Amazing.
that will let us control our dreams. I mean, these are the sweatbands that can stretch and you can put them around your head. They look not that amazing, but but you can control your dreams if you're wearing them. So I feel that is kind of the trade-off. And also I think it's fashionable. Kind of Jaime has some idea of what's fashionable, and he knows that is probably not great, but still, at least they're not. No, wait, they're neon colors because that was what was around, right?
Mhm.
So yeah.
All right.
There's one that is not in a neon color, and Becca and John can fight for it.
All right. So I think that's pretty much where we're going to finish up for tonight. Maybe the very last image of this episode is late at night. Heather is, still at the diner, but she's by herself now. Everyone else has left, and she's trying to keep her eyes open, but she's, slowly falling asleep. And that's where we'll stop. So I will stop the recording